grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos...
You lost him.
The three-year fight to organize America's farm workers into a union has been supported by the powers of money and of mysticism. Today's farm workers' pilgrimage to Delano, California showed the religious side of the battle. The financial and political pressure that the AFL-CIO has been able to build up for the Farm Workers Union was shown by the presence of Senator Robert Kennedy. The Farm Workers Union leader, Cesar Chavez, has been fasting for 25 days to persuade his followers not to use violence in their strike against the fruit companies. Today, Chavez broke his fast in a religious ceremony. At the climactic moment, his followers rushed to surround him. Chavez is slowly winning the fight to unionize the farm workers, partly by using stubborn union organization methods, partly by using the mystical qualities of his messianic personality. Pierce Anderton, ABC News, Delano. The three-year fight to organize America's farm workers into a... Let me start again. The three-year fight to organize America's farm workers into a union has been supported by the powers of money and of mysticism. Today's farm workers' pilgrimage to Delano, California showed the religious side of the battle. The financial and political pressure that the AFL-CIO has been able to build up for the farm workers was shown by the presence of Senator Robert Kennedy. The leader of the Farm Workers Union, Cesar Chavez, has been fasting for 25 days to persuade his followers not to use violence in their strike against the fruit companies. Today, Chavez broke his fast in a religious ceremony. At the climactic moment, his followers rushed to surround him. Chavez is slowly winning the fight to unionize the farm workers, partly by using stubborn union organization methods, partly by using the mystical qualities of his messianic personality. Pierce Anderton, ABC News, Delano. Pierce Anderton, ABC News, Delano.
Another one, say Delano, California.
Los polluelos con el me gustan a mí. Canta el gallo con el Los polluelos con el pío, pío, pío. tío, me gustan a mí. Y por we want the area clear, please.
What's a riot? There's always notices in the paper that they laugh and everything else, but they hadn't done it.
All these people that are right here, please.
Y también quiero decirles favor de hacer campo aquí, ¿eh? Favor de hacer campo. Please make room here in front. Please move back.
Hey, tell everybody to move back.
Please move back.
Tell that lady to talk, please. Bring that down just a second, please.
Okay, get back. Get over there. Get over there. Get a hold of my hand. I'm sorry. Okay, let's back it up. Well, let's move him back. Back it up. Give me a hand.
Hey.
Quieren ya vivir en paz y por eso y la vida para siempre. Hoy la vida para siempre. Hoy la vida para siempre. Que viva nuestro Dios. Campesinos los derechos a pelear. Para siempre, hoy la vida para siempre, que viva nuestro Dios. Y ahora piden perdón de parte de Dios. We will now begin the Mass in a spirit of penance, asking pardon from God. Oh Dios, nuestro Padre, estamos aquí reunidos para celebrar el fin and full of dangers. We ask you to look with favor upon our cause, because it is the cause of Christ, the cause of the humble and the poor. We ask you for this help in the spirit of your Son, Jesus Christ, who lives and reigns with us. Amen. I would like to call upon Dr. Jerry Lackner now. gloria a ti. 6 días después, Jesús llevó a Pedro, Jacobo y a Juan en el... Su cara se puso brillante como el sol y su ropa se volvió blanca como la luz. Escogido en the Council and 14 million members of the AFL-CIO, with humble hands and a heart full of hope, we present the permanent charter to the United Farm Workers Organizing Committee, AFL-CIO.
I heard. Yes, you will. It's network. It'll be all over. Oh, okay, good.
What was it?
Chavez. Yeah. Come over for a press Get him over. Step back, please. Dolores, how are you? Fine.
Don't fall over there. Yeah, thanks.
Warning me, don't fall over the thing Come on around, I'm sorry.
My great admiration for Cesar Chavez. All the problems that we have in this country and all the problems that we have around the world, that this man has sacrificed as he has against violence and against lawlessness, and that the effort that he's made on behalf of people who suffer so tremendously in this country, namely so many of our farm workers, and particularly the Mexican Americans and others of minority groups who have not had the protection of the laws with the great troubles that are taking place in our country at the moment. I think this is a very, very bright spot.
You feel a change will be made?
In what way? In the passage
for
of
the
laws?
farm workers?
Well, I think it's very difficult. I mean, I love to come here and promise that that's going to happen, but I think that what we do need is some federal legislation which will be comparable to the legislation that we passed in the 1930s for other workers in this country. And the fact is that we haven't done that, and the result has been that the farm workers have suffered and grown much more slowly economically than any other segment of our society. It's terribly unfair and very unreasonable and very, very unjust. And these people have suffered tremendously. And I think we need legislation. Whether we will pass legislation, whether we will recognize the injustice, I think is still questionable. But we're 30 years behind in this area over the rest of the economy.
The farmers' problem in this situation?
I was here 2 years ago, and we held rather extensive hearings here and have held them elsewhere in the country, so I think I'm familiar with it.
What was your discussion with Cesar this morning?
Just a few minutes. We just spoke about today, and that he's hopeful that the efforts that so many of them are making are going to be successful.
Senator, when did you first decide to come?
I knew about when he went on the fast at the beginning, and I sent him a telegram at that time because I was concerned about his own health, and I think that he's needed that kind of influence that's committed to nonviolence and committed to trying to perform some good for his people is desperately needed, and for these people and for the country as a whole. And then about a week ago, he got in touch with me and asked me if I would come out on Sunday, and I said, no, I did not. He was unable to talk on the telephone, as I understood it.
Are you planning to introduce any legislation?
I think I would like to say they will. I think that it's going to be difficult. As I say, I think that they are the ones, they are 30 years behind the rest of our country. As far as, I think it's going to be difficult. I think there are a lot of people who will fight for it, but I think there's a good deal of opposition to it.
Senator, other minorities, other labor groups are able to get this sort of thing.
So the result is they've been ignored, and the result is they've suffered tremendously. And while the rest of the economy has gone ahead and the rest of the people have been able to organize themselves, these people have not been able to.
Senator, did you make any promises to Mr. Chavez this morning? Black militants have been saying that the only way really of accomplishing anything is in a way to resort to violence. Do you think that you can avoid violence on the farms?
Yes, I would hope that we would. And I think that Cesar Chavez has been a good example. I think people are frustrated. And I think they're terribly disturbed by the fact that they haven't had more success and that the federal government in Washington has not been helpful to them, and that the state has not been helpful to them. And this is not only true here, but elsewhere in the country, so that there is this frustration and there is apt to be this explosion. I think that the Cesar Chavez is very influential, but I think also what in the last analysis is the answer is that we pass the laws that will remedy the injustices. That's what we should do. That's what those of us in Washington should do. We shouldn't just deplore the violence and deplore the lawlessness, we should pass the laws that remedy what people riot about. We can't have violence in the country, but we should also not have these injustices continue.
Senator, do you plan to meet with any other political leaders in California?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. At the beginning, he said, here you go. Let him.
La consigna. For each night we gathered together at the gasoline station at be proud because we are executive.
Where's that little girl that's lost? Here? Where's the little girl that's lost? Their little girl. Where's that? Get him.